Hey, Wildcats. So we are on chapter 5 today with Dr. Dolittle, and it's about to get interesting. Dr. Dolittle just let Chi-Chi, the monkey, pull up the anchor so that the voyage could begin, and he has no idea how to get to Africa, but I think it was a swallow said that. So this little bird said, "Oh, I've been there several times," and said that he would tell Dr. Dolittle how to sail all the way to Africa. So this is going to be very interesting. Chapter 5 is called The Long Journey. Seems appropriate. For 6 whole weeks, they went sailing on and on over the rolling sea, following the swallow. At night, she carried a tiny lantern so they would not miss her in the dark. People on the other ships that passed said that the light must be a shooting star. As they sailed farther and farther south, it got warmer and warmer. Polynesia, Chi-Chi, and the crocodile enjoyed the hot sun. But Gub-Gub and Jip and Tutu could do nothing in such weather. The pig and the dog and the owl sat in the shade of a big barrel and their tongues hanging out, drinking lemonade. Dab-Dab kept herself cool by jumping into the sea and swimming behind the ship. Every once in a while, when the top of her head got too hot, the duck would dive under the ship and come up on the other side. When they got near the equator, they saw some flying fishes coming toward them. The fishes asked Polynesia if this was Dr. Dolittle's ship. When she told them it was, they said they were so glad because the monkeys in Africa were getting worried that he would never come. Polynesia asked them how many miles they had yet to go, and the flying fishes said it was only 55 miles now to the coast of Africa. One evening, soon after that, as the sun was going down, the doctor said, "Get me the telescope, Chi-Chi. Very soon we should be able to see the shores of Africa." About half an hour later, sure enough, they thought they could see something in front that might be land. But it began to get darker and darker, as night usually does, and they couldn't be sure. Then a huge storm blew in with thunder and lightning. The wind howled, the rain came pouring down, and the waves got so high they splashed right over the boat. Then there was a big bang, and the ship stopped and rolled over on its side. "What happened?" asked the doctor, coming up from downstairs. "I'm not sure," said Polynesia, "but I think we're shipwrecked. Tell Dab-Dab to get out and see." So Dab-Dab dived right down under the waves, and when she came back up, she said that they had struck a rock. There was a big hole in the bottom of the ship. The water was coming in, and they were sinking fast. "We must have run into Africa," said the doctor. Dear me, well, I guess we must all swim to the land." But Chi-Chi and Gub-Gub did not know how to swim. "Get the rope," said Polynesia. "I told you it would come in handy." "Where's that duck? Come here, Dab-Dab. Take this end of the rope, fly to the shore, and tie it to a palm tree. We'll hold the other end on the ship here. Then those that can't swim must climb along the rope until they can reach the land. That's what you call a lifeline." So they all got safely to the shore, some swimming, some flying, and those that climbed along the rope brought the doctor's trunk and medicine bag with them. What an interesting way to get to shore. I never would have thought that. But the ship was no good anymore with the big hole in the bottom. The rough sea beat it to pieces on the rocks, and the timbers floated away. Then they all took shelter in a nice dry cave they found high up in the cliffs until the storm was over. When the sun came out the next morning, they went down to the sandy beach to dry themselves. "Ah, dear old Africa," sighed Polynesia. "It's good to be back. Just think, it'll be 169 years tomorrow since I was here. It hasn't changed a bit. Same old palm trees, same red earth. There's no place like home. The others noticed she had some tears in her eyes. She was so pleased to see her home once again. Chi-Chi suddenly said, "Shh! I hear footsteps in the jungle." They all stopped talking and they listened. Soon a tall man came down out of the woods and asked them what they were doing here. "Oh, hello. My name is John Dolittle, MD," said the doctor. "I have been asked to come to Africa and cure the monkeys who are sick." "You must all come before the king," said the man. "What king?" asked the doctor, who didn't want to waste any time. "The king of Jolliginki." I don't know if that's how you actually say the end or say the name. Jolliginki? I don't know. "All of these lands belong to him, and all strangers must be brought before him. Follow me." So they gathered up their bags and went off, following this man through the jungle. What do you think? Can we do chapter 6? I'm going to do it. I hope that's okay. Chapter 6, Polynesia and the King. When they had gone a little way through the thick forest, they came to a wide, clear space, and they saw the king's palace, which was made of mud. This was where the king lived with his queen, Ermintrude, and their son, Prince Bumpo. That's a really funny name. The prince was away fishing for salmon in the river, but the king and queen were sitting under an umbrella before the palace door. The king asked the doctor his business, and the doctor told him why he had come to Africa. "You may not travel through my lands," said the king. "Many years ago, a man came to these shores, and I was very kind to him. But after he had dug holes in the ground to get the gold, he went away secretly in his ship without so much as saying thank you. Never again shall a man travel through the lands of Jolliginki." Then the king turned to some of the men who were standing near and said, "Take away this medicine man with all his animals and lock them up in my strongest prison." Oh no. So 6 of the men led the doctor and all his pets away and put them in a stone dungeon. The dungeon had only one little window high up in the wall with bars in it, and the door was strong and thick. The animals all got very sad, and Gub Gub began to cry. But Chi-Chi said he would spank him if he didn't stop that horrible noise. So the baby pig stopped crying. "Well, are we all here?" asked the doctor after he had gotten used to the dim light. Yes, I think so," said Dab Dab, and started to count them. "Where's Polynesia?" asked the crocodile. "She isn't here." "Are you sure? Look again. Polynesia, Polynesia, where are you?" cried the doctor. "I suppose she escaped," grumbled the crocodile. "Well, that's just like her, sneaking off into the jungle as soon as her friends get into trouble." "Ah, I'm not that kind of bird," said the parrot, climbing out of a pocket in the doctor's coat. "You see, I'm small enough to get through the bars of that window, and I was afraid they would put me in a cage instead. So, while the king was busy talking, I hid in the doctor's pocket. Here I am." "Oh, good gracious," cried the doctor. "You are lucky I didn't sit on you." "Now listen," said Polynesia. "Tonight, as soon as it gets dark, I'm going to creep through the bars of that window and fly over to the palace. And then, you'll see, I'll soon find a way to make the king let us all out of the prison. Oh, what can you do? Said Gub Gub, turning up his nose and beginning to cry again. You're only a bird. Quite true, said Polynesia. But do not forget that although I am only a bird, I can talk like a man, and I am really quite clever. So that night, when the moon was shining through the palm trees and all the king's men were asleep, the parrot slipped out through the bars of the prison and flew across to the palace. She went in through a pantry window. Then she tiptoed up the stairs till she came to the king's bedroom. She opened the door gently and peeped in. Queen Ermintrude was away at a dance that night, but the king was in bed, fast asleep. Polynesia crept in very softly and got under the bed. And she coughed, just the way Dr. Dolittle coughed. You know, Polynesia was a parrot, and she could mimic anyone. The king opened his eyes and said sleepily, Is that you, Ermintrude? And Polynesia coughed again, loud, like a man. The king sat up, wide awake, and said, Who's that? I am Dr. Dolittle, said Polynesia, just the way Dr. Dolittle would have. What are you doing in my bedroom? Cried the king. How dare you escape from prison? Where are you? I don't see you. But Polynesia just laughed. Just like the doctors. Stop laughing. Come here at once so I can see you, said the king. Foolish king, answered Polynesia. Have you forgotten that you are talking to John Dolittle, M.D., the most wonderful man on earth? Of course you cannot see me. I have made myself invisible. There's nothing I cannot do. Now listen. I have come here tonight to warn you. If you don't let me and my animals travel through your kingdom, I will make you and all your people sick like the monkeys. For I can make people well, and I can make people ill, just by raising my little finger. Send your soldiers at once to open the dungeon door, or you shall have mumps before the morning sun has risen on the hills of Jollygiki. And the king began to shake and was really afraid. Doctor, it shall be as you say. Do not raise your little pinky finger, please. He jumped out of bed and ran to tell the soldiers to open the prison door. As soon as he was gone, Polynesia crept downstairs and left the palace by the pantry window. She is a really smart bird. I never would have thought of that either. But the queen, who was just letting herself in the back door with a latchkey, saw the parrot going out. And when the king came back to bed, she told him what she had seen. Then the king understood he had been tricked, and he was dreadfully angry. He hurried back to the prison at once, but he was too late. The door stood open. The dungeon was empty. The doctor and all his animals were gone. This book is getting so good. It's quite the adventure. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.